seeing movement, seeing people talk and having conversations, that's where deals start.
There's still really good, compelling deals out there. It's just been interesting. You don't see as much inventory coming on MLS. You're seeing more inventory gravitating back towards the off market.
I mean, I've always loved the control of my deal and who gets to know about it. And, what paper trail there is of it, because then you set the perception of it. And that's huge in a seller's world. Welcome back to REI Hot Seat. Andrew Hines with David Hulshof here. Thanks for doing this. We're back. Yeah, we haven't been on one together in a while. It's a revolving door in here a little bit, but it's fun. We get a lot of perspectives. So today, a couple things we're going to go over. Now that there's 2 rate drops, people are starting to change their sentiment. And who better to ask than somebody dealing with buyers and sellers of investment properties?
Yeah, it was funny. We were just chatting about it. It's like, how does that impact business?
Well, like we were just having a candid off the record, non-recording conversation about this. I'm like, why are we not recording this? And now we're recording it.
No, it's interesting because we've got a deep buyer pool, and then we have a bunch of sellers, and it's so interesting as rates starts dropping. It's the sellers are now, the confidence of sellers is just directly correlated. Just interest rates drop, boom.
So all the buyers coming out of the woodworks thinking they got an opportunity. You still do, but some of the sellers have an idea as well. Yeah, it's
a very interesting time. I mean, I was telling you there was a power of sale on market, and it got 10 offers on it.
Power of sale. 10. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's positive news for anybody sitting on property that were kind of hurting them a little bit.
Yeah. The people hanging on by a thread
they're like feeling some relief.
But it's like, to your point, there's still really good, compelling deals out there. It's just been interesting. You don't see as much inventory coming on MLS. You're seeing more inventory gravitating back towards the off market for commercial anyways, which is the way it used to be.
Like an agent knows another agent. Hey, this guy will know somebody to move this.
And like it used to be that way in times past for the reason of a lot of deals weren't closing. The market's a bit tumultuous. Things are all over. Because of that, you don't want to just throw it up on MLS because you just get a wave of people you don't have connections to. So we get a lot of off-market inventory, and we share a lot of off-market inventory with other agents that we've done deals with because we know, they'll tell us, look, this is the seller or the buyer. These are criteria. They have proof of funds, blah, blah, blah. And we can rely on that because of a history. So that's where you're seeing a lot more of that. Like a vast majority of the deals we're looking at are off market now.
And I could just imagine from like deductive reasoning, obviously realtors are going to want to work with people they know, because if you know the agent, you know sort of how they screen their clients. You're going to know, they only work with people who are legit. And that's knowing a deal is going to close is huge.
It's paramount. In commercial too, you got to think you're conditional for 30 to 60 days on average. Close date, call it about the same. I mean, that's a pretty substantial amount of time. So you're conditional for, let's call it 45 days, and the deal dies on the 44th day. You lose so much momentum. You lost all your momentum, right? So you don't really have too many kicks at the can. You do that twice, and the deal is completely different now.
Now it looks like it's been on the market for a long time. It looks
terrible, right?
And so I always wanted that with my investment properties, and never wanted them to go on the market for that reason. Like, what if a buyer does something funny? It makes it look like there's something wrong. I'd rather just keep it in my pocket, talk to people, and get it sold that way. And most of the investment properties I've sold that way.
And that's why a lot of times in the intake, it's a win for the buyers, the newer buyers. It's a win for us as their agents because we'll help cultivate them along the process. So who are you using for your financing? Let's make sure that you have the funds, right? Where are the funds coming from? If it's, actually in an account, you have to sell something to get it. So really quantifying like what they have available and what they're looking for and their goals, and then being sure that they can execute. It's better for them, better for us, and better for
you're not going to waste anybody's time.
Anybody, right? But it puts everybody in the right position because the people who are ready to transact, this is a great opportunity. Right? There's still a lot of good quality stuff out there. And our claim to fame right now, we do a lot of proof of funds, which
that's huge in the US, man. I know, like everybody does it down there.
No one does it here.
For houses, you do it down there. Show me your proof of funds. Show me your pre-approval.
It's a reasonable request, and we've been doing it. That's a trade secret now. Everyone's gonna start, but I think it betters the market. So basically, what we're saying is, look, Mr. or Miss Buyer, are you okay with us doing that? Yes, no problem. We offer it. And it just shows, hey, look, we've got X amount in a bank account. We've got this. Here's the funds. And people just you're much more serious when you have.
Oh, 100%. When I see that, like, especially with all the stuff I've sold in Florida, like, I'm asking the realtor, I'm like, where are the proof of funds? Sure, I might consider that. Where are the proof of funds?
Right. It's a reasonable request, but for some reason, just not here.
It was not common here, but I know we talked about this a little while ago. I like seeing that you guys are doing that because it ups the caliber of your game.
We've been doing it a lot. It came about because we're doing a lot of direct to CMHC deals. So these deals are, conditional for exorbitant amounts of time, many, many, many months, right? It's like you need to have the confidence that your buyer is serious and well positioned.
How significant is the size of the deposit to you guys? Like, say you got the listing, like what are you asking for?
If I'm the listing agent, the moon, and then for the buying agent, the other side.
You're trying to do the minimum.
We do, like on the buy side, we do 2-stage deposits, right? So we'll do it. Hey, here's sign of good faith and some money while we're conditional, but we all know it's not relevant. And then a much larger once we go firm. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. Again, it becomes even less relevant while conditional when you show proof of funds.
Yeah.
Right. Those two are kind of in tandem. On the sales side, it's amazing how often you can suss out who is really going to be buying.
Yeah.
By a deposit or proof of
are you
funds.
willing to throw down $20K, $50K?
Yeah. Like we've got one on an off market that's ours, and the offer that the buyers put forward was, we will do the deposit in 30 days. Like, no, you'll do the deposit upon acceptance, right? It's like, well, why does it matter? And it's like, okay, let's do this, do this, show us proof of funds, do these things, and they're not interested in doing it. It's like, okay, well,
you're not that serious. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's fine. I mean, that's the reason you have us, right? We're the line of defense to start kind of poking holes in some of these things. If you do it long enough, you can see an offer and be like, these guys going to wholesale this? Like, what's happening?
Oh, yeah. You want to watch out for that. In Florida, we've been having a bit of dilemma with the land we're selling because these people want to come in and throw $1,000 down on, and it's like, that's kind of customary.
Yeah.
I've been able to negotiate one guy up to $20K, but then it was still conditional and he just backed out and the conditional period. But I had another one. The guy threw down $500 on a $30,000 buy. And I'm like, I don't like that, but we were going to do seller financing, everything. The guy didn't show up to the closing table. So I get his $500.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What are we doing here?
We just locked the property up for a month and a half. It's one of those things where I've had multiple deals fall apart on small deposits, and I can kind of smell it. When I see the small deposit, I'm like,
same.
I want to say no, but if you haven't had a lot of offers, I've done it multiple times in my life where I just said, okay, fine, we'll sign it. Deal falls apart.
Yeah. Now on the other side of that, we have done deals with one of our clients who does $1,000 deposits. For multifamily buildings.
But you know who you're working with.
And I can say, here's a bio, here's what they own, blah, blah, blah. His whole thing
is different.
His whole thing is like, I'm good, I execute. If they don't want to do a deal with me, so be it. And this is while it's conditional. I'm not going to give you 50, 100 grand for conditional for good faith. Here's me, I do deals, get it sold. And you go, okay. And some people, though, they look at that offer and you just they will not even entertain it.
But somebody like you who knows the guy. Oh, okay. Like I know.
Exactly.
I know the realtor. I know the guy. Okay, no problem. He does this, but he closes deals.
Yeah. Here's the bio.
And that's like the first thing I'm asking when I'm taking like offers on stuff we're selling in Florida. Hey, do you know this agent? Like, what's your background? And
100%.
I feel way better when, yes, I know.
Yeah, we've done deals. Yes, this is their specialty.
Yeah, he's a buddy of mine, or I trained him. I just got that one-on-one I sold. It closed. Small deposit, but it closed.
Yeah. It's super valuable. And so because the market is sort of a little bit bipolar right now, that's why I think we're seeing a lot more of it go to the off-market side. And again, they're just, they're going direct to the people that close. And they're being shipped around that way.
Yeah. And going again back to that point, because I don't think it's one to graze over, is once you put that MLS track record of it's been listed for this long, like that's in stone more or less. You can't erase that.
Yeah.
So for a seller, I've always loved the control of my deal and who gets to know about it.
Yeah.
And what paper trail there is of it, because then you set the perception of it. And that's huge in a seller's world.
So I own mixed use, downtown Burlington, commercial res. and I was going to sell it. The roof, it's a flat roof.
Yeah.
So it's a usable space in the roof. There's a hot tub up there. It's pretty cool.
Sweet.
But the roof needs to be fixed. It's patched right now. It looks poor.
Right.
So the idea was, okay, going to list it. It's like, don't think I need to do that right now. Rates are dropping and I need to fix that roof. Right.
Yeah.
And to your exact point, I throw it up, call it $1.8 million and I don't get it.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't do the roof right now. And that's forever. The market could skyrocket for the next 6 months. It's got a bad rep now.
Yeah, it's
right?
got a little bit of a stigmatized. Oh, that one's been listed for a while.
Yeah. There's something wrong with that one. Yeah.
It might be something, even if it's completely untrue.
Yeah.
And by no means am I suggesting that people shouldn't list properties, because I have done that, and sometimes that's the best thing to do, especially when there's when it's a seller's market and everybody's fighting for stuff. But in more balanced markets, I think there's a real argument, especially in niche fields like multifamily, to just work with people who know. Yeah,
and it's very case by case, because this particular property, a mixed use one, that's 100% going on MLS.
Yeah, eventually.
When it's ready. Yeah, because it's downtown Burlington.
Yeah, like higher desirable,
but a unique property. It's mixed use, right? Commercial, residential. It's more high end, like the finishes. So there's a very particular buyer for that, and that is a great opportunity.
And it's a big buyer pool too.
Exactly.
Right? You're not sniper approach with that. There's tons of people who can buy that.
Exactly, right? Yeah. So that is a perfect candidate to go on MLS versus some of these other ones. So it's very case dependent. So it's a good point. Like, I'm not saying don't throw stuff on MLS. Definitely. Just,
case by case.
Case by case, yeah.
Yeah. With the investor stuff, like, I know a lot of the stuff that you guys do through your office is probably just investor to investor. Yeah. But it's like, you already know somebody. Oh, I know somebody who's looking for an 8-plex. Perfect. We'll link that up.
That happens more often than not.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got this opportunity. They haven't even got the full numbers yet. It's another agent. We're having a conversation.
You've already got somebody interested.
I know somebody exactly for that. We're dealing with it right now, actually, in Guelph. Exact same thing.
Yeah. Perfect reason why you want to be on the insiders list for the show, so that you can, you be in contact with his office if you're somebody that's looking, because this is a very qualified team to help you out.
Yeah. Well said.
Okay. So just want to circle back around to the current market conditions. My high level thought is people are hearing the chatter. Of course, in the US, their inflation is down under 3% now. Ours is under 3%. And the sentiment is we're probably going to see a 0.5 point drop in the US, potentially a half point drop here in September. I mean, that might be optimistic. Maybe it's a quarter, maybe it's nothing, but none of us know. But this is what we started with. This is why people are starting to feel a little bit empowered from the sell side. Hey, maybe I do hold the power here.
Yeah. Yeah. Traction's picking up. People are getting motivated, getting interested. Yeah. And when you start looking at the changes in rates and stacking financing on top of it, especially our deals, a lot of them are CMHC, right? We're taking them there. It becomes, there's some really good quality opportunities that way.
You're going to be into the 3s pretty soon with CMHC, right?
Yeah, we just looked at one, because we always add a buffer.
Yeah.
So it's fun to watch. You can look at our old analysis.
Yeah, you just keep dropping it. Yeah.
And we're now with a buffer at about 4-ish.
4 even.
Yeah.
It's going to make a big difference. Hopefully the sellers don't all react at one time for your buyer's sake.
Yeah.
And then for your sellers, obviously you're going to try and,
we're lucky. And what we're seing now is some of these larger owners with a lot of different properties, or just got off a call. They're optimizing their portfolio. So they're getting rid of the small stuff, right? They've been waiting for a little bit. Now that the market seems like it might be picking up again, they're just getting rid of what would be the smaller stuff in their portfolio, which is unlocking more opportunity, which just gets things churning and moving. So there's more and more stuff, again, off market right now, but you're starting to see things pick up on both sides of the fence.
Yeah, on both sides. So I was asking you off camera, is it a net positive or a net negative? You said, obviously action's good.
Yeah.
Seeing movement, seeing people talk and having conversations, that's where deals start.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like we're in the upswing right now. And in terms of activity, it's starting to pick up, right? Like things are happening. But again, if we're talking about for the buy side, if you're qualified, you're ready to transact, you have capital, good opportunity, especially when you're looking out to go and bring stuff to CMHC. And same thing, if you're selling right now, there's people are out, people are looking. So it is a good opportunity.
And once you're into like $1 million, multi-million-dollar mortgages, a quarter point actually does make several $100s of difference.
Huge.
So
we did. We were looking at cash on cash on a deal. It's about $4.5 million, and it was, I got to remember now, cash on cash at 4.4% interest. So sending it to CMHC 4.4 was 6 and change. It dropped that to 4% interest, and it went to 8.
Yeah, so that's making a huge difference.
Huge, 40 basis points. That's a pretty
assuming
big.
a 5% down scenario for there. Yeah. Okay.
Did you just do that math in your head, or was that a guess?
I was just guessing. I was assuming
I was like, wow,
because
how did you do that?
That's pretty quality cash on cash.
Yeah,
So I'm
that was
assuming there's a
impressive.
very low down payment.
That was very good. Whatever you just did in your brain there.
Nothing spectacular. Just a little deductive
Take
reasoning.
the win.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, we're talking 40 basis points and a fairly large leap.
Yeah.
I mean, you get into 8% cash on cash, and there's REITs are jumping at that.
Yeah, the unique little buy opportunity, I would think, in the delay, right? It takes a while for markets to gain perfect information and to really understand what a change means. So in that transitional time, there's always opportunity.
Well said. Yeah.
And so before the sellers truly figured out, and you're saying they're trying to figure it out, there's that little bit of a window there to really snag some deals, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so that one, that particular one, likely coming out soon, again, off market first in the next month or so. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff coming. So
beauty. Well, again, get on the insiders list, guys. So you might have noticed REI Hot Seat probably about 3 and 4 months ago. We changed it to the panel where it's Dave, it's Jake. We'll have other people who work on the team here, Zach occasionally, and just basically talking real estate, talking deals, and these guys all have their clients sending them stuff, they're listing stuff. So that's an opportunity for you to get the information from the people who know it best out of the people I know. That this is obviously where I get a lot of my information from you guys.
So appreciate it.
Which is why you're here.
Yeah. And I mean, for us, we do. I don't even like calling me intake calls anymore. It sounds too formal. We just have conversations, see what you're looking for if you're on the buy side, and then like exactly what we talk about. It's serendipitous, happens all the time. Hey, this is what their criteria is, and then I get a phone call, and that exact opportunity presents itself. And the same thing with the sales side, right? We can run numbers, give you what we feel it's worth, how our strategy will look, and we have a lot of those conversations, and people say, I want this number, and you just wait a little bit, and
maybe you get it.
And now more than ever, if things keep happening, you might get it.
Yeah, if the rates keep dropping, like it's there should be an effect backwards or back that direction to bring values up again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Dave. Well, a good little update session. So let's wrap this one up, and we got another one coming for next week's episode. We're going to be going over a pretty juicy deal, I hope.
Yeah, 15 unit.
All right. Yeah, looking forward to that one. So again, guys, show the channel some love. If you're listening on one of the podcast platforms, we're pretty new to the podcast space. Leave us a rating and review. 5 stars would really be appreciated, and we will see you next week.